Today I've got the pleasure to talk to Eutelsat's James Mathieu. Thank you for being with me today. James James Mathieu is the director of the corporate social responsibility at Eutelsat. So he's very aware of TSF and Eutelsat partnership that has been going for a while now. I think 15 years.
15 years, yeah.
So yeah, hi James.
Hi, thanks a lot. And it's a real pleasure to be here, real pleasure to meet you and have the chance to discuss with you in this.
Thank you. Eutelsat and TSF has been partnered for 15 years. And if I'm not mistaken, you've been to Eutelsat for a while, even before being director.
I can introduce myself. So I've been at Eutelsat for more than 20 years, and I always worked in the technical department, in the technical domain, in technical operations, working in a lot of the time in our teleport operations. So I had quite a technical background and was involved in many of the kind of technical aspects of setting up communications. And since last year, I've moved full-time to take the position of the director of the corporate social responsibility. So for me, it's a new domain. It's a great change. It's not at all really specifically technical, but I think it helps to have that background. It helps to really understand the kind of the business and the activity to be effective in the role. But it's great, and I'm really enjoying it.
Part of the program that you're managing as the director of CSR is the TSF partnership. So what does this partnership mean to you, both personally and maybe from Eutelsat's perspective?
Yeah, no problem. Well, I mean, to start with, from the perspective of Eutelsat, it's part of our core mission of Eutelsat. The humanitarian, using our means to provide humanitarian support is part of our core mission. And so it's fundamentally really, really important part of what we do. And I want to say right at the start as well, I've got, huge admiration for the work that you're doing at Télécoms Sans Frontières. Since I took this role, I've got to know you and the team more, and I've met several of the team from TSF, and it's really kind of inspirational to understand what you're doing and the way you're doing it. And for us to be able to support that is really part of our, as I say, is kind of part of our core mission and something that we really, really want to be involved with. I mean, Eutelsat, we have a big communications network. We manage 35 geostationary satellites. So that gives us a big communications capacity across the world, but we're only 1,000 people. We're not a huge company in that way. So we don't have kind of boots on the ground in all domains or in all geographical areas, in all countries. And this is really why the partnership with TSF for us is really, really important.
Okay. Thank you for your kind words and for just giving an insight on this. Maybe more specifically, just let's try going back in time. What would be a strong memory of this partnership for you? Maybe not as a director of CSR because it's fairly recent, but
yeah, no, but I mean, the memory I have is actually, I know obviously during the 15 years we've worked with TSF, there's been several missions and things that we've supported. Obviously, the most recent being in Turkey and Syria. So this is the most recent thing that springs to mind. But rather than pick out one of those missions, the thing which springs to mind, I'm going to speak about something which is quite personal to us in Eutelsat, is the memory I have is really of a colleague. In that we had a colleague who was a huge driving force for humanitarian activity within Eutelsat. A colleague called Simon Gray, an English colleague. He was a huge driving force within Eutelsat for this type of activity. He was well known, I'm sure, by all the team. I know by all the team in TSF and many of the other humanitarian organisations. Unfortunately, Simon passed away last year, very untimely death at a young age. So really, I think I and maybe a lot of other people in Eutelsat feel that we're kind of, we have strong memories of Simon and what he did and how hard he worked on the issue, and we really want to continue that. We kind of want to give a legacy to his work. And so it's kind of personal to myself, personal to perhaps the staff at Eutelsat, but it's a strong memory for us.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to honor his memory, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly that, and to continue the work that he put in and was a real driving force behind.
Um, so this work that Simon Gray did with us, and Eutelsat in general did with us for
Mm.
years, allowed us to provide connectivity to other humanitarian organizations, as well as directly to the population that were affected by crisis or just emergencies in general. How do you see this specific particular use of Eutelsat's technology, which maybe probably changes from what Eutelsat usually does?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're here talking with you about TSF, but Eutelsat is involved with other humanitarian organisations. I mean, we're a signatory of the UN Crisis Connectivity Charter, the Emergency Telecommunications Cluster. We work with the World Food Programme as well. So to work with you, and the fact that we know that when you're deployed, your teams, you're working in coordination with all of these other sort of organizations and agencies. For us, this is perfectly matching with the way that we want to work. In terms of using our technologies, it's a great use of our technologies. It's an easy thing to say. It's with satellite communications. It's a perfect use of satellite communication technology in many ways, because satellite communication technology is great in areas, great for providing quick, robust, simple connectivity into areas without other connectivity means. This is like the real prime example of where satellite communications has the most benefit. And that can be in unconnected rural areas, which is kind of a standard business, standard element of our business, or it can be in areas which have had a natural disaster, a flood, an earthquake, where the infrastructure which was there has been destroyed. And then satellite communications is a perfect solution for that sort of environment. So for us, it fits perfectly with, we think in this domain, our technology can play the ideal role to support the mission, the humanitarian mission.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that answer. It's very interesting that you mention your work with other organizations as well.
Mm,
So because our partnership is part of the global CSR program of Eutelsat that you mentioned, working with other organizations, and that yourself are managing.
sure.
Yeah. Can you maybe tell us about the main focus points of this program and how our partnership, the partnership with TSF, integrates into
Sure.
it?
Sure. I mean, just sort of step away specifically, just for a second, to step away specifically from what we do. The CSR, global corporate social responsibility of Eutelsat, covers lots of aspects. It covers environmental aspects, so things about our carbon footprint. It covers things about space traffic management. I mean, we're all satellite operators, or all of us satellite operators, especially in this time where we constantly see information and news about new launches, new objects, new satellite constellations. We have a huge responsibility to manage the space environment, to not pollute the space environment, to not create debris in the space environment. So all of those aspects also go within the Eutelsat corporate social responsibility. We take this really, really high up on our agenda. We have ethical aspects of our corporate social responsibility, so that we do business in the correct way. This is about data protection and anti-corruption and things of that nature. So there's an ethical aspect of corporate social responsibility. There's a social aspect of corporate social responsibility. So we're talking about things like gender equality, gender pay equality. All of these things are aspects of it. And lastly, we have, not in order of priority or anything like this, but we have a significant part which is societal. So there's the societal chapter. So it's the benefit that we can provide to the society around us from our activity. And the humanitarian is part of that. We have a huge mission. Part of our mission is about bridging the digital divide. So connecting the people who are unconnected. And as I said earlier, this can be people permanently unconnected, let's say within rural areas without infrastructure, or these can be people who are unconnected because of disasters or humanitarian crisis. And there we have, this is exactly where the activity we have with TSF fits within our mission, within our CSR mission. It's addressing this societal aspect of connecting the unconnected in the world.
Yeah, exactly. TSF got like three types of mission, and one of them is literally bridging the digital divide, or at least digital inclusion. So I think we really fit in that way. Um, Maybe more in a more global perspective. Why do you think telecommunications are important in the humanitarian sector? Maybe a bit broader.
Yeah, I mean, we know from, I guess very, very well in Télécoms Sans Frontières that you know, telecommunications, being able to provide people a means of communications into and out of areas where there are problems, there are crises, um, is a way of getting information in and getting information out, is an enormous lever to deliver aid effectively and help people effectively to know where the problems are and where the problems aren't. So telecommunications plays that role. I mean, we take where we all are in the world, kind of telecommunications for granted. The fact that we can be in permanent connection with everybody at all times, in all ways. We have instant information available to us 24/7, maybe too often, too much information to us. So we kind of lost sight of the fact that to be in a zone without information, where information is really, really important to get, it's hugely important, and that's globally the benefit of telecommunications. And it can be simple things. We all know that when we're worried about somebody, just the ability to speak to them and to check that they're okay. I mean, the first thing when there is any sort of problem, or beyond, even a lot less than a humanitarian crisis, a problem, the first thing we want to do is talk to our friends, our family who might be impacted by that. And it gives us a lot of security, and it gives them a lot of security as well. Just making that simple, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine thing. And so telecommunications does that as well. It provides people with that level of basic security. And we all profit from it, I think, where we are in the kind of Western world. And we take it for granted now, but we shouldn't do. It's really, really important to be able to do.
Last but not least, more globally, as nowadays we face more and more climatic, social, economical challenges, like you probably know it very well as the CSR director. So we face those challenges on the ground specifically. Can you share with us, sorry, your vision of how satellite communications would help address these challenges?
Well, I think satellite communications is helping address these challenges, and actually, I think satellite communications, and even broader, like satellite-based services, of are helping us massively, and have helped us massively understand the problems that we have. I mean, if you look at just the environment, take the environmental area, the knowledge that we have today about climate change, about how the climate is changing, about measuring sea levels, about measuring areas of deforestation, about measuring the elements of carbon in the atmosphere. Nearly all of this is done with satellite-based technologies. So the fact that we have knowledge that allows us to be informed today about the problems that you evoke at the start is often largely based on satellite-based services or telecommunications. So already it's delivered us a massive benefit in understanding, and continues to deliver a massive benefit in understanding and measuring. And when we try and make actions to improve the situation, it measures the benefit of those actions, if they're good, if they're bad, how they can be improved. All of this is being done by satellite-based technologies. Satellite-based technologies enable it to be done, let's say. So I would say already it's played a huge role in understanding. We also assure that satellite-based services help us massively in terms of mitigation of again, I could take the example of environmental problems. There's other examples, but in environmental areas, when we talk today about connecting the unconnected, connecting people in rural areas, these are often people involved in the farming sector. Farming sector is a huge aspect of huge sector which needs to be addressed when talking about climate change. So having information, into farms, out of farms, weather information, accurate weather information, for example, allows farms to be a lot more efficient with their use of resources, with their use of water. They can produce more food using less resources, which is exactly the challenge we have. And that's, if you connect people in rural areas, for example, that's one of the benefits that you have. And satellite-based communications is an efficient way of doing that, rather than build land-based communications. So I would say the kind of satellite technologies and infrastructure have helped us understand many of those problems that we have, and will definitely help us mitigate and address a lot of those problems. There's a huge field open to us.